Softly charged beats.
My time coming, know it is, cause I didn't pray for it. I'm in a suit day and night, yeah, I done slaved for it. I never knew that if I rap, I could get paid for it. State to state, different cities with the gang touring. He ain't a beast, if he played, I had the gang storm him. It's on the love, if you my brother, we got the same story. Yeah, what you know about a kick, though? You wasn't with me, I was running.
Beautiful people, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Smith. Thank you again for joining me at Public Comment at your local, wherever you pick up your podcast. I don't know if you're on Spotify. I don't know if you're on Podcaster. I don't know if you're on Google Podcasts or wherever, but you know I'm in all of those places. So thank you for checking us out. You know where to find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I still ain't dabbled in the TikTok. Sorry, folks. I just ain't, you know, that's some things I'm fighting. So I haven't done TikTok and I don't eat Chick-fil-A. So I'm probably going against the grain of all the millennials. You know what I'm saying? That's the old guy speaking to me, get off my grass. But maybe one day, you never know. You never know. You never know. Thank you for joining us today. I have another outstanding guest to join us to keep the ball rolling, so to speak, on the Summer Series, Black Women 2023, which I am super proud of. We've already had two wonderful, phenomenal guests. Today will be no different. This one particular young lady, we've never really met in person, like eye to eye, like, you know what I'm saying? It's all been organic, just through the word of mouth, just through the nonprofit culture and community. And it is a privilege to have a sister girl on with me. I call her sis, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I've called her by her name yet. It's just sis, because that's the vibe that we've had since jump. Everybody say hello to the wonderful Sista Abigail Ellis. Sis, what's good with you?
What's up, bro? Look, you're right, because I always be like, that's my bro. Somebody be like, who you over there chit-chatting with? That's my bro.
That's my bro, right?
I'm like, y'all, you wouldn't even understand, because you wouldn't even believe how we met.
Right. Exactly. Like, again, that's why I said, like, just organic nature, you know, and I think when good causes are aligned, you know what I'm saying, just the atmosphere and the energy will bring them together, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, just for all transparency, Sista Abigail had me on her show. We'll get to that in a little while. But she allowed me to run my mouth on her show. She has a wonderful, wonderful platform that I hope you guys check out. She's going to plug it because it is so amazing. It's so needed in the community. So we're going to get to that. But before we start our conversation, I just wanted to give you some of the bio. Again, you know, like my last show, you know, Black folks, we got to get a bio. You know what I'm saying? Don't discount what you do as, oh, I'm not important, doesn't need to be highlighted. Man, everything we do as Black people should be highlighted, and you should have it down somewhere. So when someone talks about you or needs to talk about you, they can run off, hey, this is what so-and-so does. This is what so-and-so does. So when I hit up sis, I said, shoot me the bio, bam, it was already done. You should see it. It's ultra professional. Like, she's ready to go on Oprah's talk show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know, when they welcome her to the White House for all the work she's done, the bio is going to be like the bomb. They're going to put that thing down and going to be like, yeah, from now on, all bios should look like this. So Sista Abigail Ellis, known to many as Abby, is the founder of Steps Foundation, Inc., where she's pledging to make a difference. Man, that's awesome. Pledging. She's a native of a small town called Moorhaven, Florida. While that town may have had limitations, her dream and desires to help others begin by watching her grandmother give effortlessly to others, and her mother's fight to find resources for her brother. She moved to Orlando on a mission and pursued those dreams. She started out in early childhood education, working from teacher to center director. Later, she went back to school to pursue a bachelor's in business. I'm going to say that again. To pursue a bachelor's in business and information management, also receiving a project management certificate in human resource administrator certificate from Seminole State College in Sanford, so that she could understand the fundamentals of business. Everybody want to be the boss, but if you don't know the fundamentals, you can't be the boss. That was something I just threw in there. She returned back to school and received her master's in counseling from Nova Southeastern University in 2021, while she was pursuing her master's degree in 2019, she started Steps Foundation, Inc., with the mindset of helping to push youth and families towards their goals and connecting families to community resources. Abby has the heart to serve her community, but most importantly, see people reach their goals and recognize that they have the ability to reach for the stars. Her favorite quote is by Maya Angelou: "Try to be a rainbow in someone's clouds." Whoo, that thing is fire. That's a bio. You know, the sis, what I appreciate about that, it sounded like you was absolutely purposeful with the words you use in that bio.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And there's so many things that I've done that are not even listed in there, but those to me are the highlights. Those are the ones when I think about students who are trying to pave a way, students that are trying to build something for themselves, need to hear that somebody's already done it. Mm-hmm. So then it pushes them that much harder to go and continue to do it and pick up where I dropped.
Pick up where I dropped. You know, that's a phenomenal statement and phrase, sis, because as you know, we've had many conversations. And to think that you or I or that singular individual can do everything is absolutely insane, that you can't, you know. Exactly. So we need young people to step up and fill those gaps where you and I and other folks that's doing the same thing have overlooked or, you know, or misseen some things. Right. So, yeah, I think that's a phenomenal phrase. Thank you for everything you do. And to be honest with y'all, I didn't know she did all of this. I just know what she do. You know what I'm saying? I know what she do. I didn't know she did all of this. You know what I'm saying? So
look, I don't never be out here reading no bio. I'm like, look, y'all, this is who I am. Right? That's where we stop.
and it's so real. You know, it's so refreshing. You know, so you're like the third person, right, in the series, and I didn't set them up to be in this particular order, but I'm glad they're falling in the way that they have, because it just shows the differences of everyone. But there's that common denominator that we're going to get to of being a Black woman and overcoming some things, and, you know, breaking that mold and stereotype. Because like if you read this bio, but they didn't see you, you know what I'm saying? The first image they would think is a white woman. Am I right or am I lying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they assume
it because of my name to begin with.
Okay, fair enough, right? Well, so look, we both got that. You know, Abigail and Edward, they don't see a picture of us, and they probably start making assumptions. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But the long running myth is that we can't be educated. That we cannot overcome, that we cannot achieve, we cannot succeed. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you, sis, for the fabulous work you've done and traveling this journey and getting to where you are today.
Thank you so much. Look, I love the journey. I wouldn't trade the journey for nothing.
Say that. And so with that journey, you wouldn't trade it for nothing. And, you know, reflecting back on your bio, you know, watching your grandmother, you know, and her just tirelessly doing what she did. And then your mom, you know, having to locate resources. One of my first questions was basically that, like, you know, describing what motivated you to get to where you are now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how was those values ingrained to you, so to speak? So if you can just kind of touch on you.
Ooh, I love that question. I love that. So one of the things that people who have followed us on Instagram or people who have looked at our social media typically always notice the 1,000 hashtags that we have. Mm-hmm. But the most consistent hashtag that they're gonna see is hashtag Sam is my reason. Okay. So Sam is my brother. And he was born with a disease called, yeah, right? That's my baby right now.
Say that.
He was born with a disease called tuberous sclerosis. And, you know, people will hear me talk a million times about my grandmother. Me and her were very, very close. And their stories kind of intertwined into my why and why I took the positions that I took, why I entered the spaces that I entered. My grandmother was definitely a selfless person. She wasn't always that way. But the grandmother that I know, the grandmother that I was raised by, is the person that I truly could say I look up to her. You know, I love how she cared for others, and I love how she made people feel when they would come over. Like, her door was the open door, and she lived right across the street from an immigration camp. The one thing that people typically knew my grandmother for was, one, my girl was the Sunday school superintendent for 1,000 years, I swear.
Say that.
And so if you showing up, if you dropping your kid off at church, they better be able to quote a scripture other than Jesus wept, because she was not accepting Jesus wept.
Hey, grandma was
until they come up with another one.
hey, grandma's was the gatekeeper, right, to Sunday school.
Right? But outside of her Sunday school superintendent role, everybody always knew on their birthday there was a cake. She baked everybody their favorite cake, and all she had to do was call and say, "Come pick it up. Your cake is ready. Happy birthday." Now, to a lot of people, it may seem like, okay, that's cool, but in a small town, you feel like that's family. You know, there's somebody who cares enough about me on my birthday when other people may not even open their mouth to say happy birthday. They thought enough of me to bake me a cake and to tell me to come pick it up. They showed up happily. Early in the morning, because she be up at the crack of dawn baking that cake, and they knew by 9, 10 o'clock their cake was ready. But that immigration camp across the street, she would make it her business to get to know who they were. And these people always fluctuated because they're coming from everywhere. And they come, they work their season, and they disappear and they go somewhere else. But she always made sure to know when their birthdays were. And she always made sure that there was cakes going across to that camp so that they felt special and they felt like somebody cared. Wow. That always stuck with me. Now, my mom's situation with Sam, you know, my brother's disease was a rare disease. So there was no information on what the disease was and where should you go to get assistance or help. They gave her a pamphlet that was one front and back page, and it had very few words on it. And it was, here you go, figure it out. Social workers were of no help. The doctors were of no help. So and then of course back then there was no Google it. So you literally were stuck trying to figure out how to best care for a child with the disease that nobody knows about. Wow. So it, you know, watching her struggle, and then as I came up here and I started pursuing my dream, like after working with Sam, he's nonverbal. But one of the things that I realized is when you take time to show somebody something and you do it repetitively, they pick it up. Consistency is key. And so I taught my brother how to say some words. I started teaching him sign language. I taught him how to make Kool-Aid, and then just showing him how Kool-Aid. Yep. Say that.
That's the kind of show I got, folks. We do Kool-Aid on the show. Right.
What's your flavor? No.
Hey, red ain't even red. We ain't even no flavor, just red.
I'm glad you know.
Right? Tell me my show ain't 1,000% real and authentic, boy.
Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Let's go.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's just the kind of show we got, boy. Yes, sir.
So I mean, you know, looking at those things, it really inspired me, and I fell in love with teaching. And it's because if I can teach my brother, how many kids can I teach that don't have a problem?
Right.
How many lives can I push towards the right path that don't have a problem? So, you know, I started looking at what will it take for me to do this? So I knew my passion in school was always, I wanted to have a business, but I wanted to inspire kids. And I couldn't figure out which passion was going to outweigh the other. So I'm like, I don't know what that's going to be. So in middle school, I started volunteering my time. By high school, my teacher was like, yep, you can get a high school credit to go across the street and teach those kids in the kindergarten class. You know, go be a teacher's assistant. So I did that. I was a teacher's assistant and I did Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Okay. So I mentored students. And, you know, it was just a love. I loved it. And when I got up here, it was okay. I'm gonna just figure it out. So I started school just with a general AA, like, because I'm still over here like, which way am I gonna go? Is it gonna be business? Is it gonna be these kids? Like, what I'm doing? And ultimately, the kids won first.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
The kids won first. And I fell in love with teaching, but anybody who's in early childhood education, you know, once you make it to director, there's nowhere else for you to go.
Okay. Okay.
That's your tap out. So I'm like, okay, I worked all these years, you know, I done taught, you know, I done sat as the admin in the front, and now here I am running a school. What I do after this?
Right.
Like
now
your
what?
Only next step is, your only next step is to start your own. But I'm like, do I really want to start my own? Is that the business that I want? Nah, because I feel like I should be doing so much more. And that was always in the back of my head. What more can I do? Who else can I save? And I dabbled with that for a minute. I started working in HR. I then went to a construction company. And as I'm talking to old parents and still continuing to mentor kids while doing all these things, and I'm hearing it, mental health is dwindling. Our people don't have enough people that look like them to come to get answers, to come to and feel safe, to come to and don't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm a burden to this person. They looking at me because they already don't understand where I'm coming from, what I've been through, and everything is a me problem and not a somebody else problem. So I went back for counseling. And let me just be clear, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, you a counselor. I am not a licensed counselor, y'all. I literally went to school to become the middle person. I'm in that space that nobody want to be in. Nobody wants to be the middle person ever.
Right.
But I've watched how it works. I know that private insurance is the one that gets kicked to the wayside. So those are the families that sit on the wait list for 6 months to a year. I've watched it happen. I've seen it in the background. So now how do I help fix that situation? We know we can't save them all. We already know this. And so for me, that was, let's start this organization where I am adamant about helping these students, and I'm adamant about helping these families and connecting them to the resources around them. And now I can bring in the resources that I have and allow those people to take my students and families in because they're partnered with us. So now they don't got to sit on a wait list.
That is a phenomenal use of the bridge, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like taking what I know, right? I've done this for years. I know this part. Now I learned this part and I connect the two, right? Being the bridge is the middle person, right? Being the bridge is the middle person. And people lose fat. Like you just said, no one wants to be the middle person. No one wants to be the bridge. Everybody wants to be the superhero on the other side of the bridge. You know what I'm saying? But no one wants to be the bridge. So thank you, sis, for being the bridge. I just want to, you touched on a couple things that I think kind of present us where what you do. You touched about like how you love your work. You know, I know you from what, you know, our conversations and the other show and everything, like we know you have a passion for it, right? But you said something about your grandmother that kind of got me, because you said like, you know, my grandmother changed. Now it's not the grandmother I knew was a different person, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, like, but then, so your grandmother evolved, right? And then your mom had to evolve to deal with your brother, right? To give the support that he needed, right? And then here you come, right? And then your evolution to understand like, whoa, if I could do this for my brother, I can do this for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And then I think the one that should not be overlooked is the evolution of your brother, to go from where you're saying that he couldn't be verbal to you teaching him things to where, okay, yeah, you may not be able to sit here and hold, this glamorous conversation, but you can get your point across. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important, sis, for you to share that part, because we all evolve. Right.
Yes.
And I think the purpose, one of my fundamental purposes for this particular series was to show young Black women you can evolve and you will evolve. Right.
Absolutely.
And it's totally cool to change your mind, because, you know what I'm saying?
That part. Changing your mind is like, that's growth.
That's growth. That's
Y'all,
growth.
it's not a mistake. That's growth. And even if you feel like it's a mistake, it's still growth, because we grow through our mistakes.
Absolutely. And I think we put this pressure on young people to make the absolute right decision at the absolute right time. You know what I'm saying? And then we sit there and hold them accountable when they don't. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out, because I think, again, getting that point across is we evolve.
Yes.
And then we grow. And then that kind of leads me into evolving, right? That intersectionality for Black women is now becoming a mom, right? And I think you kind of had a taste of that when you started saying, oh, I got to help my brother do this, I got to help my brother do that, and then you get into education and all of this. So was that a helpful part of the journey to prepare you for motherhood? Or, talk about being a Black mom.
Listen, y'all, when I was in middle school, I was out here like, yeah, I'm gonna have like 30 kids. And then I got that first class of students. Like 15 2-year-olds.
Ooh.
And I said, what was I thinking?
Y'all didn't tell me about this.
Listen, this is instant birth control. Oh, no. My boyfriend at the time was like, oh, so you said we not having no kids? We sure are not.
We are not. No, ma'am.
You want some kids? You can come visit this daycare and you can see all the kids you want.
Right.
So I used to always chuckle, because people used to be like, how many kids you got? 130. Which one you want? They're like, no, for real. Like, how many are your real kids? They feel like my real kids. It's 130 of them.
Right.
Which one do you want?
I got them for the better part of the day.
All day long.
They mine.
So it just, and I'll never forget, like, I got married and I had some of the kids come, and like 2 of the kids were in the wedding. And it's like, that was amazing for them. It's like, that was my teacher. And like, I think even then, like, the visual for me was, oh, I'm gonna have this super huge wedding and I'm gonna have all 130 kids at my wedding. Ain't nobody got time for that, y'all, because ain't nobody got that kind of money. But I would like to think that I was rich. Yeah, but all of those things prepared me for motherhood. I knew that when I had my kid, that I wanted to be that first educator for my kid. I watched people who drop their kids off day in, day out. They miss the first steps, they miss the first words. And ultimately, even when we think about our educators who have their kids in daycare, they don't feel like they've become their kid's first teacher. So I knew that was the experience that I wanted. So when I had my son, I was his first teacher. I stayed home for 2 years to teach him. And I did all the things for him that I did for every other student that I've ever had. And he learned sign language and he got to play. And like, I taught him through play. It was just a wonderful experience for me. And, as that mom, balancing everything else in the in-between, I would never change it, would never take it back. I look at him now at 11, I'm ready to throw some things at him.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
You know, but that's still my baby, you know. And I'm so proud of him because he just like his mama.
Absolutely. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
I'm like, I know I shouldn't take all the credit, but y'all, he just like his mama.
You know,
mouth it out.
That's hey, again, he get it from his mama. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Right. So you know where it came from. You can't blame a teacher. You can't blame the school. You
when I'm
know.
ready to throw him across the room, I have to remember, like, bro, you sound like me. Oh, really? That's what we doing.
That's what we doing today. That's what we doing today. You know what I'm saying? And I think what I really like to highlight about that, we again had this conversation many a times, is the parental involvement. You know, I think we get to a point where we just work, and you know, you fail to be present in your children's lives in a sense of recognizing some of their learned lessons and the way they move, the way they talk, the idiosyncrasies, those little things. So I really, really appreciate that, because hopefully your story, your journey, how you interact with your son and taught him, inspires another young Black woman that becomes a mom to be part of it, to appreciate the moment of learning the letter A, right? Or holding this pencil properly. You know, I heard something sis, and you probably know this, it's like a lot of our students who are struggling in the school don't know how to hold a pencil properly. Mm-hmm. When I heard that, I was like, what? Like little things like that can transform a student's educational experience. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So definitely thank you for that. You know, it's so many little things I think come to motherhood, you know, for Black women, which I want to just transition really quick, like being a mom of an 11-year-old Black boy. That's all I need to be saying right there. That shaking of the head.
So many things with that.
Absolutely. No, yes. The wonderful and the horrible. Am I right or am I wrong?
Exactly. Yes. So many things with that, you know. And I'll share this story, especially for any young moms. When it comes to your education, if you have the desire to go back, don't let your child be the excuse as to why you don't do it.
Say that again, sis.
So when I started my bachelor's program, my son had just turned 2. And crazy enough, I chose to start school, work, and him at daycare on the same day.
Cool. No pressure.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, I cracked under that pressure. Okay, so listen, I thought I was ready, and by day 2, I was in tears, going, "What the hell was I thinking? Why did I do this to myself?" And I remember my mom reminded me that it was only temporary, and that it was possible, and I could do it. And I'm not gonna tell y'all it's easy, because again, I had a 2-year-old. I was doing night classes, and I was doing the full-time job, working a whole 8-hour day, thinking I was Superwoman. I didn't ease into that thing. I went full.
Just jumped into the shark tank.
So a child that had never been separated from me. I'm dropping off at school. He's having a whole breakdown. So guess what? Now I'm having a breakdown because he's having a breakdown. So it was a huge adjustment period. But once we got going, it was a wrap.
Okay.
Don't think that you're not going to have bumps in the road. Don't think that there's never going to be a challenge. The one thing that I'm going to tell you guys is always remember why you started your journey. Why did you go back? So before you ever start school, write it down. Why are you going? What's the reason for it?
Absolutely.
And I didn't come up with that, y'all. I'm gonna say I had a wonderful admissions counselor, and this was in my master's program. who, before we ever started our first class, before we even started our orientation, she was like, you know, I look at people who show up all the time and say they want to be counselors. You know, they have these great ideas and they want to start their own practices. And she's like, in month 2, they quit.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, always remember why. Why did you show up day 1? Why did you apply? What told you that this was it for you?
Mm.
And she's like, because there's going to be days that you question why you're doing it. There's going to be days that you are for sure this is not it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be ready to quit. She's like, but when you look at your reason why, it's going to remind you why you're doing it and to keep going. So I want to share that with every young mom, even if it's a young dad.
Hey now.
Because I know some of my brothers, look, I know I got single dads out there too.
Of course we do.
That want to know how can they manage. You can definitely do it. But don't use your baby as the escape route. Don't say because I'm a single parent, I can't do it. You can.
Hey, where the tray at, sis? Where the tray at? Where the tray?
Hey, mama, we need the tray.
we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. Hey, sis, no, that's a valuable point. You know, I think to add to that, like, so if you have to write down the why, right? Your why has to sustain from day 1 until the day end, right?
Yes.
You gonna have some days, and so you're gonna need to write it down and look back at it and say that. And I think that translates into kind of my wrap up question, which I've asked everyone so far in the thread to all of this, is just the intersectionality of being a Black woman, how it, you know, transcends being a mom, a career woman, a student, a teenager, right? You know, all of these different things. And I don't want this series to be the, oh, you know, pitiful for Black women. I don't want that. You know, uplifting, like, you know, tell us the greatness is that you encompass as being a Black woman, and how you navigate through all of these things that other people just take for granted. It's so easy.
You know, one of the things that I love about being a woman and just being who I am and doing all the wonderful things that I do, and one thing that I hope that all the young girls I encounter learn, we do not have to be everybody's superwoman.
Hey now. Hey now.
We do not have to hold the title of superwoman. I think society has told us that we're supposed to carry everything, every burden, every weight, all of the family issues and dramas, everything. We don't. You guys, that's what family unit is for. Family unit. We share those bonds. We share those responsibilities. And it's the one thing that I learned a while ago. And look, my favorite word is no.
Say now. Hey now.
And I know that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to say. And it wasn't always the easiest word for me to say. But my favorite word is no. Because if I know that I am overtasked, if I know that I have overindulged in things, then my answer is no. I'm not adding extra to my plate. No, I cannot add this on to what I've already been doing. And no is a wonderful thing. Listen, you say no and you don't owe them an explanation.
Hey, right.
No is your no.
Hey, it's an unconditional no.
That part, that's a whole statement in itself. No. You can take that no for whatever you want it for. I want our women to start remembering that they don't have to carry it all. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to lay your burdens down somewhere. Mm-hmm. Wherever you find to lay it down at, lay it down. Mm. if that means you got to type it out on the screen, if that means you got to drop it in a journal, if that means you got to do, a voice chat memo in your phone, whatever it is, lay it down somewhere and stop holding on to it. Because that touches on our mental health. And that superhero complex where we feel like we got to save everybody we can't. And at the end of the day, who's saving you?
Sis.
So sis, you don't got to be Superwoman. It's okay to take that cape off. Take it off.
Take it
and
off.
Drop it.
Take it off and drop the cape. Sis, that's phenomenal energy right there. That Black woman energy. I share this with my wife quite frequently. Like, you can't save the world if you ain't taking care of yourself. And that goes into exactly what you just said. You know what I'm saying? I watched my mother go through that. You know what I'm saying? I watched my wife and my sister go through that. I think I'm watching my daughter go through it for the most part, but I think she's handling it pretty good. But, I'm glad you touched on that. I just want to add this. Man, y'all already know, sister girls, y'all worth is in your presence. You don't have to do nothing else after that. You don't have to do nothing else after that. Your worth is right there in your presence. As soon as you show up in the space, bam, bam.
Y'all.
Yeah. Well, and hey, you walk in the door and just know I'm here. Y'all figure out everything else. You know what I'm saying? Y'all figure out everything else. We love it. Because I think really, and I don't want to go too deep in it, but I think again, just the purpose of this series and to just explore and express the I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that mindset of Black women having to be that nurturing, that superwoman, like you said. Because if we travel back in time after this trip here, not only were we taking care of our families, and when I say we, I'm talking about Black women. When Black women were taking care of just not their family, but the plantation's family, and everybody that was on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we just need to be mindful. Thank you, sis, for saying that. Being a Black woman doesn't mean you have to necessarily save the world. So thank you. I appreciate that. Before we go, I want to touch on your platform, your show, really quick. Tell them about your platform. Sis, it is phenomenal. Please.
Okay, guys, we do what's called Talk Tuesday. And honestly, it was a group of our students that asked us if we would be willing to go on lives to have conversations. Now, we were having conversations in the background with our students, and they seemed to enjoy it, but then they asked for live. So me being me was like, y'all not even on Facebook. Why I'm about to do a live and y'all not even going to be on the watch? Right. But one of the things that I can love, because, you ask a kid and they going to tell you the honest truth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so one of the kids was like, you right, Miss Abby, we not on Facebook, but our parents are. And these conversations that you having, they need to hear it. And I'm like, understood. So this is y'all's way of telling me to tell your parents to back off. Got you. Understood. Create these spaces so that you guys can navigate better conversations and better communication skills. Understood. And the one thing that I can say, and this plays into you guys, how me and Spinny got connected. 2022? Actually, 2021, the end of 2021, I put out a call for speakers after the kids asked for it, just to see what we would get as an outcome. And because we always talk about different awareness days and situations that arise in students' lives, whether it's work or financial literacy or just things that they struggle with, guys, like genuinely struggle with. How can we navigate these conversations on live and with who? And Smith was the first one to be like, I'm down. and I love it because I knew that you have been watching our page for a minute, because like anytime I would post something, you would always comment or like it. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but he be making me feel good. Like I'm feeling myself. He watch our stuff, he like it. And when you was like the first one to be like, tell me where you need me.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even know him, but I love it.
Okay, right.
Look, at this point, y'all, he ain't a guest speaker, y'all. He a co-host. Smitty done been on like every Talk Tuesday with us, but it's genuine conversation about real things that students face, parents face, and it's just us generally sharing things that we've gone through that can help our parents and students craft that conversation and give them the tips and tools that they're able to use to navigate through those situations. And they're loving it. The kids love it. The kids get so much out of it. A, it's a networking opportunity for them. B, it's a resource for them. And it's helping some of our students heal. So I love the opportunity to do Talk Tuesdays. We on break until September. So y'all definitely check us out in September. And even if y'all want to come speak, even if you're a student, you can come and speak.
Hey, I told y'all she's phenomenal. And I like I said, from the beginning I saw the energy and the compassion for young people. And I think we need more of that. I think that's what drew me or brought me in to your space, sis. It's a phenomenal space. It is a phenomenal space, people. If you haven't had a chance to check out Talk Tuesday, I there's plenty on Facebook. Go check them out. See them all. They cover every aspect of early adulthood, adolescence, teenage years. You know what I'm saying? Even on up to parenthood and whatnot. Mama Darlene got the tray passed around, you know what I'm saying, when the nuggets would be dropped. Shout out Mama Darlene. She always show up like she be there. You know what I'm saying? So sis, I appreciate you so much. Wonderful Sister Abigail Ellis, the founder of Steps Foundation, Inc. in the great state of Florida. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you, Smitty. I always appreciate your energy and your love for us. And just thank you so much for always showing up and being your authentic self. Because listen, I wouldn't have you any other way. Come through, bro.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. And when I do come through, I'm bringing red Kool-Aid just to let y'all know.
Let's go. Whole lips and tongue red. Let's go.
Well, hey, y'all know how I do it on public comment. It'll be serious and it'll be educational, but we're gonna keep it 1,000, and it is what it is. You might get some hood material in there thrown in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that, folks, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with my wonderful guest, my sister Abigail Ellis. She's doing phenomenal things out in the state of Florida. I just want to share this tad bit right quick because I think it's important, just the networking part of when we share our energy and our cause and our purpose and our why with someone else. It's not even about me. It's not about sis, right? So far, I helped one of her students, not me, but my organization helped one of her students prepare and pass her exit exam for math. And we're talking about California to Florida. We're doing this over Zoom. We helped there. I got another, well, I don't have one, but he's on his way out here to attend Stanford from STEP, right? Shout out. And me and him going to connect, and he's going to help me do some things. So again, understand the purpose and the cause, and young people who are the receptors of this powerful energy that exists in the air. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that out there to you guys. So when you think you can't do something, just doing something makes something else happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's the show. Again, it's Public Comment. It's your boy Smith. I hope you guys like this. Please share it with somebody. Make sure you tune in for the next coming out. I think I got about 4 more lined up so far. Hopefully I get some more feedback from some other sister girls. We already did 2. I'm thoroughly excited about this. It is so over needed. And it's coming at the right time, just when we have this movement of young, powerful, strong, intelligent Black women just on the horizon, ready to make a change in this world that is so long overdue. That's the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me again on Public Comment. And like I always say, have a conversation with someone that don't look like you, and you just might learn something if you shut up and listen. Till next time, beautiful people, you know I love you.